Ladies and gentlemen, GERI PETITO.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
And in time this too shall pass.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
GERI PETITO taught the class.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
Loves the answer, the greener grass.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is really true, is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
And in time this too shall pass.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
GERI PETITO taught the class.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
Loves the answer, the greener grass.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass.
One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GERI PETITO Show on HamiltonRadio.net. So this is really cool because this is the first time I'm doing this kind of a show, okay, from home, live stream. So bear with us, okay? I have a really, really great guest today, someone that I just respect so much. I'm going to have him introduce himself, and then, of course, I'm going to read the poem. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Good afternoon, Hamilton Radio. This is Brian Boconfuso. As most of my friends, family, and colleagues in law enforcement know me as Bucky. I was recently nominated and endorsed by the Mercer County Republican Committee to run for Mercer County Sheriff in this upcoming election in November 2020. I look forward to your support and hope for a great victory come November. Thank you, Jerry.
Hey, Bucky. So you have all of our support. Hamilton Radio is behind you as well. I'm going to read your poem first, and then we're going to get into your campaign and what you're standing for, and we'll let everybody know, okay? Because everybody's very interested.
Thank you.
Bucky for Sheriff. Brian Boconfuso is my awesome guest. Most know him as Bucky, one of Township's best. Robbinsville Township, a retired cop, now running for sheriff. This guy don't stop. 25 years on the force, you earned respect, you stayed on course. Bucky, my friend, you do got my vote, kind of like me, you won't sugarcoat. You gave it your all, I'll never forget what you did for me when justice was met. Above and beyond you always go, doing what's right, that's what you show. You never succumb to what others say, you stand by beliefs of yours every day. All of our friends and family of mine will vote for you at the drop of a dime. You are an icon in town, my friend, will be respected now till the end. No one deserves this more than you. Bucky, my friend, I will help too. My thanks go out to all you have done, from officer, sir, now sheriff you'd run. Now let's begin to interview you. Tell the county what you plan to do. The floor is yours. I'm done with this rhyme. Start your campaign while you have airtime. That's for you, Bucky.
Thank you, Jerry. Greatly appreciate all those kind words from the bottom of my heart, as I know comes from the bottom of your heart. Thank you.
For sure. So tell everyone, everyone's interested in knowing, you're Republican and what their views are and what you stand for and what's your passion and what's driving this.
Gotcha. Well, again, I was nominated and endorsed by the Mercer County Republican Committee. This wasn't something that I went out seeking for. They came to me to be a Republican candidate for the upcoming election. So I'm honored, and I feel very proud and appreciate the endorsement and then, the nomination and the endorsement from the committee. I serve as a chair here in Hamilton in one of the districts for the Republican Party. The Republican Party has had its, little ups and downs here in Hamilton, as most people are aware. But we're building, rebuilding, coming back stronger and better than ever. Obviously, as a politician or in a political position, everybody wants to work together. There's an ultimate goal for the citizens and the residents within the county of Mercer County. One of my main objectives, let me go a little bit in my background, just to give you a little snippet of my background. I started my law enforcement career out of high school as a communication officer of the Princeton Township Police Department in Princeton, New Jersey, where I was brought up and raised. My father was a law enforcement officer, a Princeton Township Police officer. Went through the ranks and retired as a lieutenant in the Criminal Investigations Bureau. Back then it was the Detective Bureau, but now we've come to change the wording a little bit to Criminal Investigations.
Okay.
So I did that for about a year and a half. I was young and felt, might not be what was for me at that time. But I knew ultimately that's what I wanted to do. So I did a few other jobs for a couple of years. And then in the fall of 1990, I applied for a position with the then Washington Township Police Department, now Robbinsville Township Police Department. I was hired as a communication officer again. After about a year and 9 months of that, I was appointed to a patrolman's position. I was sent to Trenton Police Academy. Graduated the 75th class at Trenton Police Academy. Started my career in patrol. From patrol, I went into the Traffic Bureau. I enjoyed the Traffic Bureau for a while. I was also part of the Community Policing Bike Patrol Unit in our police department. I got involved in a little bit of IT, computer work, as we started to evolve into having in-car computers, mobile data units as they were back then. And then I got part of a group that was selected to go to do relief with Hurricane Katrina.
Okay.
So we went down to a city who was similar to our size town in Robbinsville. Went down there did relief for about 5 days. Came back from that. There was an officer that I met with, I made a connection with down there, and they had what was called a warrant squad. And basically that officer worked with the courts for anybody who was outstanding on warrants, criminal, motor vehicle, whatever warrants may be. So I got assigned to do that on my own, which was a kind of like a portion of the criminal investigations unit with the police department. So I did that for a short period of time, and then it evolved into a full-time position, an appointment into the criminal investigations unit of the Robbinsville Township Police Department, which is where I always wanted to be, due to my father's background in being a detective for several years of his career. So there was a great passion and pride that came with getting that position and getting into the criminal investigations unit. I worked with 2 other detectives, one who's retired and works in the prosecutor's office now as an agent, Vince Estelle. The other detective is now the current chief in Robbinsville, Chris Nitty.
Who happened to tell me to tell you hello, by the way. Okay.
Well, thank you again. Thank you. So, we're working in that unit. It was great. We worked with other local police agencies. We worked with the county. We worked with state, and we worked with federal agencies. So a very diverse unit to work with, a lot of great networking. You get to work in various different details. I was assigned to the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, Special Investigations Unit. I worked a wiretap investigation, which actually culminated into being the largest county investigation unit. Seizure of drugs, guns, motor vehicles. It was the largest seizure in the county history up to that point when I was assigned to it. It was called Operation Weeping Willow. And it was a great opportunity for myself to be involved in, again, to network with state, federal, local agencies that are assigned to the county unit. And like I say, I was in the criminal investigations unit. I always loved that work. It was always a challenge, and every day was different. That was the best part of law enforcement itself. It's not a day that, 9 to 5, every day you go into work and you have certain things you do. With being a criminal investigations unit and being a detective, there's so much you do, so much education you get from working with other agencies, various cases. The job's never the same day in and day out, which really makes the job evolve, and you enjoy the job. And you get involved with narcotics and drugs, besides residential burglaries and thefts, things of that nature within the job. Sexual assaults, juveniles being preyed upon. So there's definitely a vast majority of what you work with that, the patrol side is great. It's where it starts. Without great patrolmen, you don't have great detectives. Because if a patrolman doesn't go out there and do his job and get the essence of the information you're looking for, that helps enhances a detective to better further the case, carry on the investigation, and ultimately come to arrest and prosecution of any matters that you're investigating. So it was definitely a great experience being a detective. I came up to 25 years in December of 2015 and said it was time to retire. I had my 25 years. I was eligible for my pension, eligible for my health benefits, and it was time to say goodbye. Do I miss the job? Absolutely. Do I miss the camaraderie, the teamwork, the men and women in law enforcement? Absolutely. I tried to stay in contact as much as I can. So it's been a breath of fresh air for 4 years to be out of that. I work for a medical research company here in Hamilton as a assistant operations manager. And I do enjoy that. Again, it's challenging, and any task that's given to me in any of my career aspects of my job, I've always handled professionally, taking them to task to fulfill the ultimate goal of achieving what has to be done. So bringing me up to where I am now, like I stated, I was brought to my attention that they were looking to seek someone for the Republican ticket for sheriff. And when I was nominated and endorsed, I accepted. I accepted with great pride and honor. I look forward to the challenges ahead through the election. It's been challenging with the current situation of the COVID-19 pandemic going on, that we're not able to do what we normally would be doing when it comes down to the campaigning right now. And I understand that. And I'm grateful and thankful for this today. Social media and being able to get out in the air for people to know a little bit about me. Not just from what they may know from my past or have heard from my past, but to see me here and to be able to express my views, my opinions. Change is good, and I'm hopeful that the change that can happen with the Sheriff's Department can be a positive, good change. Some of my concerns, my first concern is the opioid issue that's going on throughout the county. It's not just in the city, it's throughout the county. We saw a lot of it in Robbinsville, up and down 195, a lot of young boys and girls coming from Monmouth County, Ocean County to go to Trenton, come through 195 as a main thoroughfare to get their drugs, heroin. It's a cheap drug, but they got addicted one way or another with either straight from heroin or from oxycodone, and oxycodone with painkillers, Percocets, things of that nature. And it's damaging. It's damaging to young children. And I say children, and I use that word because I've seen it where it starts at 15, 16, 17. And then it evolves, obviously, into being a young adult. But you do see the changes. If you look at a picture of someone when they were 17 and they got their driver's license, and someone who has been unfortunately involved in the opioid issue, the drugs, the addiction, you see a total change in a person, and you really don't even want to believe that that's the same person that you're looking at in front of you compared to how vibrant their life was prior to that. Yes. It really strikes your heart in the heart, in your soul, because you're looking at someone who didn't ask for this. More than likely they were involved somehow or another with having painkillers, or through friends, and they got hooked. Addiction, it's a shame. It does a lot more damage to your body and your soul than alcohol. Not saying that it's anything to take light of, but it definitely does a lot more damage. But where you see a lot of it is with great families that are destroyed by a loved one who has an addiction. And unfortunately, the resources that are out there aren't as easy for them to get to. And it kind of hits home when, unfortunately, they get arrested. And then once they're arrested, and prosecuted, and they either serve community service time or they go up to the county jail and do some jail time. That's not where they should be. It doesn't help them. It just prolongs the situation for them and their addiction, because once they come out of jail or out of their community service time, and not everyone that does, fortunately go to recovery, when they come out of recovery, is back on the right track. They do
I need to piggyback off of what you just said. You may not even know this, but it's important because of what you just said. When they get arrested, you're right. I don't agree with that either. Okay, I mean, hear me out. A cop saved my life 29 years ago, and I'll never, ever forget this. And that's why I'm such an advocate as well to help addicts. Because if that didn't happen that night, I had a 1990 Eldorado Cadillac, black and gold with Elvis license plates. How flashy was that? I'm in Trenton at 1 o'clock in the morning with that car copping dope with a friend of mine, okay? She was driving my car. The drug dealer didn't have our dope. An unmarked police car was following the car because he recognized my license plates, because I used to go to the courthouse and I used to have lunch with the Mercer County judge, municipal court judge at the time, who was a client of mine in my beauty salon.
Okay.
He knew it was my car. He watched him go in the house, get the dope, come back in my car, pulled us over, and he said, Judge so-and-so said, Jerry, go home, get some sleep, and get help. He could have arrested me. I got help. It saved my life. So that's why what the CARE program is doing, what you want to do, Buck, it's incredible. And that's what's going to save their lives, not arresting them.
No, unfortunately, and it's hard from being on the outside looking in to understand it. And one time I did have an individual from Monmouth County, and I asked him, I said, what's the feel? Like, what is the attraction? What's the high? And he was honest with me, and I said, I'm not trying to pick your brain in a negative way. I'm just trying to get a better understanding of it. I care. That's what it comes down to. I care. It's not a tool that I want to use being a detective. It's something that I want to know and get a better understanding of. And he said the best way he could explain it to me was if you took a blanket and you threw it in the dryer on the highest temp and you pull it out and wrap yourself in it after. That's the feeling, the euphoria of the drug, of heroin. And I said, okay, that's just trying to understand it. And that's the euphoria of the fixation that they feel. So again, getting into it, it affects everybody, because the young kids that don't have jobs, to get money, to get their drugs, they're taking from their family. When I was a detective, we would go to jewelry stores, we would do inventory, weekly, bi-weekly inventory at the local jeweler to see who came in and who was selling jewelry, cash, gold for cash. And they were, doing the cash for gold and seeing what they, could get so they can get a quick fix. And then, mom or dad would call the police and say, yeah, we had a repair guy in our house, so we think he stole something from us. We're like, well, what are you talking about? And they would explain what it is. And we would network between Hamilton, Lawrence, Ewing, our town, Hikestown, East Windsor. And we all had a network database. So we started uploading all the photos of everyone that going in with a driver's license. If you couldn't sell something unless you had a driver's license, then it was your face on it. We had cars go to jewelry stores. The kid would walk in and they would say no, and get back in the car and drive away. We'd hope that they would get maybe a license plate because their friend drove them there, and they didn't have a driver's license. And we made it. You had to have a driver's license in order to be able to do the cash for gold. So we cleared a lot of cases. A lot of cases where parents, were feeling that somebody else was stealing from them, not within their home. And it hits home. That's why we were getting a lot of the kids from the higher affluent communities coming to Trenton to get their drugs. So it affects everybody at home. I have 2 children. Not being a police officer anymore, they still know that it's within me.
Oh,
and
yes.
That I have my connections, and I've always said it, and I say it to them. It happened to me as a kid. You're going to get stopped. I'm going to get a phone call before you even call me and tell me what's going on, because people know me. I said, it's going to happen. I said, my children aren't driving yet. My daughter will be in August, and she understands. She gets it, but they're kids. We're all been kids.
Wait, I have to say something funny. I got to tell you something funny about my grandson. He's 19 now. When he first got his license, okay, he got pulled over a couple times. Well, of course, I got the call. Okay.
Right.
I call him up. I'm like, hey, what are you doing, boo-boo? Oh, nothing, me, Mom. I said, oh, who's with you? Oh, a few friends. I said, oh, you okay? Yeah, everything's good. Yeah. I said, really? Did an East Windsor cop just pull you over doing like 75 with 3 friends? How do you know everything, me, Mom?
Right. It's true. It's true. So, like I said, it does start at home. My daughter, she's 16. My son's 15. My daughter will be driving soon. And I've always explained to them and said, listen, I understand the peer pressures of life. I said, peer pressure is not easy. It happens everywhere, from adolescent to adults. It happens. I said, you just have to try to think about, if I'm going to do this, if something happens, what are the consequences going to be?
Yes.
How is my father going to feel, or my mother feel, getting a phone call? I'm divorced, been divorced 11 years. And a little bit of my background is I'm adopted, which I know earlier I spoke to you and you weren't aware of. So, when I talk about the peer pressure, I talk about it as, growing up as a little kid. And some kids that were older than me, their parents talk, and the kids overhear things, and they're like, well, what's that mean this kid's adopted? Like, I thought, his mom and dad are who his mom and dad are. And they are my mom and dad. Who raised me were my parents. There's no change in that.
Right.
But, in talking about that, the kids would say it, and I didn't understand what it meant until I got a little older. And as you understand a little older, and I, kind of throw it back at them. Well, your parents had you, and, kind of stuck with you. I was adopted. My parents chose me. So I looked at it a little special.
Okay.
And they would look at me as strange, but, in trying to deflect it, the issue, and not make it, hit home in the wrong way. So, I have contact, with my mom. She lives in California, my biological mother. And it so happened that when she did get married, she was young when she had me, and just felt that it wasn't a situation to try to raise me on her own. She knew my parents that it did adopt me, and it was a good fit, and everything was great. She did move to California, and it wasn't until I was about 18 that I found out her information and reached out to her. And it just so happened that her first husband was an LA County sheriff, whose father was LAPD. So do I have law enforcement in my blood and my background? Absolutely. So it was kind of ironic and funny in how that all happened to be. But again,
the frame behind you, point to that.
Yeah.
Point to your frame. That's incredible. Just tell everybody like a little something about it.
Well, something that we do in our police department and other police departments do is it's a collage of patches, your badges, awards, various different pins. It's just that it's something that was put together when I retired at my retirement dinner and presented to me by my PBA brothers and sisters of the police department. I served as the president in our PBA. I served as our state delegate for 11 years for our PBA local in Robbinsville. So I was pretty involved. And again, when I go back to the word networking, as a union representative, you can be the good guy and the bad guy because you're the guy that's going to go between the administration and the rank and file to try to talk and negotiate for your members. But you got to stand up for your guys. The administration may not like you, but they understand what you're doing. You have a union for a reason. We have a state PBA union for a reason to protect our members. And, being part of the state PBA was again, another great achievement for myself, and to be, nominated by my peers to be the delegate and serve, my peers for several years. And like I said, as president, it comes with a big burden at times because you're the guy that's going to get the phone calls and handles, situations, or like we were talking before, someone gets stopped and I get a call from an officer saying, hey, someone has your PBA card. Do you know who this is? I find out it's someone I don't know. I tell them, yeah, you take the card, give me the information, and I'll find out who it is, because sometimes that happens. You give a PBA card to somebody, that person may lend it to somebody else who they think they have a better need for it to get out of jail per se, and it's not always going to work that way. And it's not always going to work that way. So the opioid issue is big for me because there is the CARE program, like we mentioned, like we talked about, in which if you're in need of help, they get you help instead of getting you locked up and putting you in jail. They get you in the recovery, they get you on the right path, and hopefully, get you on the right road to not become a victim. Because when we talk about the drugs, the person that sold you the drugs isn't there to help you out. They're not going to be there in recovery. They're not going to be there in jail. They're not going to be there in court. They're not going to be there to bail you out. They're there to make it. It's a business. They want to sell the drugs. Do they care what's in the drugs? That they break them down to spread further so that they can have more drugs to sell? No, they don't care what they put in, the chemicals or anything else they put in it, because it's a business. So all they want to do is make the money. And unfortunately, yeah, it is. It is heartbreaking. Like I said, I've seen too many. I have a friend of mine who recently admitted to 30 years of recovery. Not admitted, but he put it out there, which takes a lot to do. Like you said
It
yourself,
does.
you mentioned 29 years.
Yep.
There's nothing greater feeling than to be able to admit that, look everybody in the eye and say, hey, listen, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I love that about you.
It is what it is. It's plain. There's no other way to look at it. But it's something to be proud of, because listen, your family loves you, your friends love you. They don't want to see you not here. There's too many Narcan deployments throughout our county, which is a drug to counteract the overdose. And I can't imagine someone going through that, being brought back, going to a hospital, possibly getting charged, and hopefully not going through that ever again for themselves, yet alone, their family and their loved ones.
Right.
So, it's important to me. It's not like I say in the cities, it's everywhere, unfortunately. A lot of people don't want to admit it. There's no drug problem in my school. There's no drug problem in my, area. No, there is. It's there. You can't deny it. Yeah, you can't deny it.
Thought Robbinsville 30 years ago. Would we have ever thought Robbinsville? Crazy.
And every year I go back to our annual Christmas party, and we have what's called our Valor Awards, and I have the Valor Award pins up here behind me. And you hear the stories. There's a little profile story about the officer, what they did and why they achieved the Valor Award, and it's for Narcan saves, for saving someone's life. It's not saving someone's life from a heart attack or delivering a baby or saving someone's life from a car crash. It's from a drug overdose, from an addiction that unfortunately got in their system, and they can't function day to day without those drugs. And it's a shame. It's a shame. So that is one of my forms of what I'm running on, as well as dealing with the sanctuary cities, the sanctuary towns within our county.
Okay.
People talk it's a sanctuary state, but to have someone commit a crime and not be charged the same as someone else who's here legally, and not get the same rights and deal with the same situation is not right. You take an oath as an officer to uphold the law, to enforce the law, and you're telling me my hands are tied because I'm in a sanctuary community, and if individual A goes and does a crime, he's not going to get charged the same way as individual B because he's not a documented. I don't get it. I just don't understand that. You have to work together, networking, like I say, with other agencies. For someone to tell me, no, we're not going to go and work with ICE, and we're not going to, help them, lock somebody up or possibly deport somebody. Listen, I don't want to see anyone taken away from their family either. You come here, you do it the right way. I know the system's hard to get through and to do it, but you come here the right way. You came here for a reason, because yes, America's a great country. It's a great place that you can provide for yourself, provide for your family. You're hardworking. You want to do the right thing. You do it the right way. I know your grandparents, my grandparents, they all came here the right way. Just the other day,
My dad, he was on that boat, Buck. He was at 13. He came alone on that boat to Ellis Island.
Yeah. Somebody sent me a post the other day with all the names of the residents that came to Princeton. And my grandparents are on there. My grandfather's on there. Salvatore Boconfuso. I mean, he came here, from Ischia, a little island in Italy, came here looking for, a better, brighter dream, and he fulfilled it. He worked for RCA for several years, retired from there, but he did the right way. That's what it comes down to. So again, in law enforcement, you take an oath, you put your hand on the Bible, uphold the Constitution. When you talked about the sanctuary cities and you talked about the 10th Amendment, it's there. That's what it's about. But, you can't protect those that come here and don't do the right thing and pillage on people by taking advantage of them criminally, whether it's doing work in someone's house, accepting the money and not doing the work, whether it's stealing from somebody, whether it's assaulting somebody. It's a crime. You're to be charged. You're to be, prosecuted for what you did. It's not like a slap on the hand. You walk away and we're not going to do anything to you because, you're undocumented. You're here illegally. I don't agree with it. So those are two of my forums that I'm running on, and what's important to me here in Mercer County. We have a great sheriff's department. It's a large sheriff's department, a lot of great guys there. My campaign's running on a very clean, ethical campaign forum. Change is good. The current sheriff has been there 9 years. There's no limit on the term. It's a 3-year term. And I look forward to the support from my friends, my colleagues, the residents of Mercer County. I do understand the challenges that are ahead of us, but that's life. There's challenges every day in our life. And how we achieve them and how we overcome them is by working hard, doing the right thing ethically, and ultimately seeking what's proper for everybody, to protect everybody and to live in a great community like Robbinsville, Hamilton, Lawrence, Ewing, my old neighborhood in Princeton.
Right.
I get back there and I visit, and it's not the same. I get it. My family roots are at Conti's Pizza in Princeton. It's my father's godmother was Mrs. Conti. So it's family. It's just it's what it's about. It's about doing the right thing for the right people, and giving them what they deserve in the proper way of protection, getting care and aid to those that are in need, that need the proper care, not just incarcerating them in a revolving door and just seeing that same person. They're not getting the help they need.
You're right. I want to let everyone out there know, if you guys want to call in and say hello or ask Bucky a question, the number's on the screen. It's 609-807-2492. You can call in now. Bucky, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you on your website, and then we're going to talk about the fundraiser you're putting on.
Yes, my webpage is buckyforsheriff.com, all one word. So if you just Google Bucky for Sheriff, it comes up. There's a donation button on there, as well as I'm on Facebook, Bucky for Sheriff, as well as Instagram. So I do have a fundraiser coming up. In light of our current situation, it's been a little diligent in wondering we can do this. It's an outdoor event, so we're hoping because it's an outdoor event, we won't have any problems. In light of the governor's decision the past weekend, letting us get back into the parks and the beaches, so long we're smart in keeping our social distancing, which is important. I hope to have this event. It's an appreciation night for first responders, because obviously being in law enforcement, it's not just about police officers. It's about our first responders who are out there, our firefighters, our EMTs, our healthcare workers. I just was at a Jeep event Sunday night over Riverview Medical in Red Bank for appreciation to the nursing staff and the doctors there for what they're doing. One of the people I know that is part of a Jeep club, his wife works there, and they just wanted to do a little get-together of show appreciation to the healthcare workers. So this is a night under the stars, first responder appreciation. It's hosted by Mercer County Capital Club. It'll be at the VFW over here in Yardville, VFW 491 on Fisher Place. It's Thursday, June 11th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Donations are $50. First responders, Capital Club members, veterans, servicemen and women are free of charge.
Okay.
There will be food. I hope to have a DJ. Again, with everything going the way it has, so long we can keep taking, small steps forward and not large steps backwards, we can hopefully have this event again. It's an outdoor event. And I can't emphasize enough about the practice social distancing, which we hope, we'll be able to do because it's an outdoor pavilion there. We can hope that the weather will warm up by June, since we've been in this crazy weather, 70s 2 days ago, and we're barely in the 50s today. So,
Right.
But in order for me to be successful, donations are important for me to be able to get my signs, to get my name out there a little further. Something like this, I'm greatly, greatly appreciative of you, Hamilton Radio, for doing this, so that people can put a little more of a face to the name. I know, people have heard and have been, following and seeing things on Facebook, Instagram in regards to my campaign. Again, I'm greatly appreciative of the opportunity I've been given to be nominated and endorsed. And I hope to have a successful campaign and hope to be elected come November.
So I want to say something now. You know how I feel about you. You know how my family feels about you, and the majority of our friends in Mercer County. We have such great respect for you, Buck. I mean, great respect for you. So we've got your back, and we'll do whatever it takes to help you with this campaign. Now Hamilton Radio's on board. We'll do this again if you need to. Whatever you want, we are here for you. Okay? This isn't even my time slot, and they were like, yes, let's get this in. So we can do that again for you. I also want to say something to my listeners and my viewers, okay? And guys, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Everyone out there who knows me, there's some people that love me, some people that don't even like me, but I believe most of you still respect me because my yes is my yes and my no is my no. And for me to be endorsing someone politically, listen to me. I need you to share this video. I'm asking you as a favor to me, if my shows have touched you in any way over the years, please share this, because there's not a man out there that deserves this more than Bucky. Okay? And that's the absolute truth. So I'm asking you, please share this video. Get on board with this. Go to his website, possibly buy a ticket, come out to the event, just give a donation, whatever it takes, because this man right here has done more for Mercer County than most have. Okay, and I can talk from a personal, what he did for me years ago with a robbery, no one would have done. Okay, so I can talk from personal experience. Okay, he will go to bat for any of you. So please, 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 not only vote for him, get a ticket to his fundraiser, whether you can go or not, give a little donation, and share this video. Bucky for Sheriff. So I want to say thank you to everyone out there that's listened to this, and everyone out there in advance, thank you if you're going to share this for me. Buck, we have a few more minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to close with?
Well, obviously, I can't thank you enough, Jerry. I can't thank Hamilton Radio enough for giving me this airtime. I'm very appreciative of that. Like I said, change is good.
Yep. I
want to run a clean, ethical campaign. It's all about doing the right thing for everybody. I've said it before in my career. Anything that I was handed to handle, I took to task and handled it completely, to its fulfillment of how it could be handled. I thank you for your heartfelt appreciation for what I did for you, just doing my job. That's all I was doing, Jared.
You went above and beyond. Trust me, you know that. But that's okay.
Oh.
But that's who you are. But that's
how it has to be done. There's everybody. Knock on wood. I can be thankful I've never been in those shoes to be a victim. But I know what it feels like from what I've heard from victims. One of my first cases I ever handled as a detective was a sexual assault case out on Gordon Road.
Oh.
And I was, given a very difficult case to start with, a very big case per se, in the way of it being a sexual assault. And I took care of the situation. I put my heart into being there for the victim.
Yep.
And it was great getting a letter from the victim to explain to me what she felt going through it, that she didn't feel alone. She felt that somebody cared and somebody was there for her and with her, going through something that no woman, no person should ever go through, to be a victim of something like that. So it kind of, like I said, it resonates with you and it sits with you. That's going back 15 years ago plus, and I don't forget it.
Because that's who you are, Bucky.
As if it was yesterday.
That's who you are. So.
When you talked about your poem, and I know you made the comment of me being strong and emotional. I'm the guy that wears my emotion on my sleeve. That's me. Because I feel for people. We're not in this world all alone. We're in it together. Like going through the current situation. We're in this together, and we'll come out of this pandemic together, stronger, bigger and better than ever. It's going to be tough, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. We're who we are. We're Americans. We're the United States of America. That's all.
Yes.
It's a bump in the road, but we'll get through it.
Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yes, it was great. An incredible interview, guys. Again, Bucky for Sheriff. Please, please, please share this interview. And thank you, Buck. Thank you, Hamilton Radio. Very cool.
Thank you, Hamilton Radio. Yes.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.